Yeah. Okay. So they live their day in particular ways. And again, there's a tremendous amount of individual variability, even within a particular group, of how they spend their day. Of course, there are some essential tasks, feeding or moving to a new area for food, resting, social interactions. Right? So it's much like us. It's exactly how we spend the day, except that our behavioral repertoire is much broader, wider, in some sense, has many more different kinds of activities than that of, let's say, a non human primate. But even then, it doesn't make sense to generalize because every species, every population of that species, every social group within that population, every individual within that social group may have very, very different motivations to lead their lives in certain ways. There you asked of the concept of time. We don't know how they partition this, but there's a lot of flexibility. So when in winter there is less food available, they may take much longer time to find food sources. Whereas if they live in the same group, the same individual, when they live in a habitat where food is plentiful, they may spend much more time resting or grooming each other, right? So there is a certain amount of flexibility. On the other hand, just like in humans, there is a biological basis to time, right? So what is chronobiology, right? And so, for example, whenever I sleep, I wake up at 7 in the morning, right? I could, like last night, I went to bed at 3:30, but I woke up at 7. And so there's clearly a clock which tells me this is the time to wake. And this varies again across individuals, though the mechanism for all humans may be similar, right? So that answers your first question, but it's related to your second question, which is what are their ambitions for living, right? And mind you, however complex these ambitions might be, we do not know. I'm not saying there is no, I'm saying we do not know how conscious or how under one's control these drives are. Now, even for humans, it's very complex, right? So, what is my ambition, really? Okay, so the fact, so Shreya just said, I hope we are not taking up too much of your time, but this is what I want my time for. I want to talk to you, right? And another friend of mine might say, you spend too much time on that podcast. You could have written up that paper that you haven't finished yet at that time. So, how we partition time, how important that activity is for us to allow us to dedicate that entire period of time to that activity really is extremely variable across humans. And what I would argue, though it is not well established, or there may not be a publication here anywhere that you might find, I think it varies across individuals, macaques as well, right? Do I need to get to that alpha position? Should I go fight that male now? Or forget it, I'll just play with this infant that's next to me. There are individuals who take these decisions. How much of these decisions are influenced by their innate biology, which includes genes? How much is this influenced by the current environment? Oh, this alpha male is really strong. I don't think it's worth my while to challenge him today. Tomorrow, if he weakens a bit, I will take my chances. It could also depend on experience. I've challenged him thrice. He's beaten me to pulp. I will never challenge him again as long as he's there. Experiential decisions. So I think all these categories of biology, environment, and experience regulate how an individual macaque spends her time. I think they do. But I don't have any methodology, coming back to what Fennel was asking me, to establish this. How would I be able to show that when I play with an infant, it's what I really want to do? Or because I can't fight the male, I have nothing else to do. Infants around, play with it. That's not what I really wanted to do. This is what humans do. How will we ever know that this is not what the macaques are doing as well? That's the problem. So it's a methodological problem.